It gave you a chance to be seen. Instead of just sending out a press release, you could convey your thoughts on a piece of legislation, on amendments. I think it probably raised the number of people participating in the actual debate on legislation, because they now knew that there was a chance their constituents could see them. To wait and get a copy of the congressional record 24 hours or 48 hours later really wasn't a sufficient level of transparency given the electronic age.
It takes a great system that we do have with the two-party system and the checks and balances for someone to actually see it operate, even from the committee area. I think it's the best education that America can get about its government.
C-SPAN is a tool. C-SPAN makes these things available, and unfortunately you've got a lot of folks that don't appreciate C-SPAN's duty and responsibility.
You know, it used to be, now it's always, will the gentleman yield? Will my good friend yield? And really they're saying, well, the rotten SOB, will you just shut up? But because they're on the camera.
And it doesn't take much whispering in the ear of a member that may get too emotional to say, hey, your mom's watching, or the American people are watching. And that will tone it down back to where it should be, a good, respectable debate rather than a raucous debate.
So that's one of the challenges I think the public has, is what they're seeing is really not a reality. It's not real in the sense the truthfulness is not there. And that's the result, very frankly, of being cognizant of the camera.
Certainly the use of charts is much more prevalent because the chart is visible not just to the people in the chamber during the debate, but to people watching it, often in the members' offices, who can get the point that is the speaker is trying to make by looking at the charts, and in that way see the argument and decide that that's the right side or the wrong side of the position based on the argument, with the extra availability of a chart that dramatizes the point even further than the words.
It's an exciting thing for the public. There's just no question about it. Can it be abused? Has it been abused? You bet your life it has been. And I remember when Newt Gingrich would get on the floor and actually ask questions of a non-existent House of Representatives.
And finally Tip O'Neill got tired of this, so he had the cameras pan the House. And it showed there was nobody listening there, this windy fellow talking.
So you're not gonna, I'm grousing because I can't turn it back, but I worry about the country. Because this constant exposure, this constant dishonesty, because we can't present the true views because we're afraid of how it will play back home. That didn't happen before.
I think it's the epitome of an open press, especially where so many people have different ideas about what members of Congress do, and everything is supposed to be done in the back room, and no one knows how a provision got into the bill. All of this mythology is just shattered because people can see on the floor what is going on, what is happening, and you just can't learn that in college. You see it and you breathe it right there, and sometimes, like me, you argue with the television.
Well, I think it's probably made our job as members of Congress a little bit more difficult, certainly more transparent, a little greater visibility. But for the public, I think all of those things are positive. We just have to rethink, how we present ourselves and the arguments that we want to make, or our ability to cross-examine arguments that are made by others, whether that's now in committee or on the floor of the House. And I think even the coverage of the committee is really important. Most Americans would never ever have an opportunity to see the debate. You can't bring 300 million people to Washington, but the C-SPAN and the coverage of the Congress does that.